What up, my dogs? Good morning, good morning. Sorry I'm a little late. Red Dog got a little thrown off today. I apologize. My 20 at 5:20 was 5 minutes late, and now it's 6:34. Uh-oh, I'm losing it. No, no, no. Anyway, good morning, everyone. My name is Scott Redler. I'm the Chief Strategic Officer of T3Live.com, the founder of Red Dog Mindset. This is the 630 Club that I've been doing for free since 2020 because I like to talk to my dogs around the world, share ideas, give the keys to the day, some things that I'm thinking about, some ways to make money, some ways to have fun, and just get things going in the morning. Cheers for tuning in. Cheers for July. Cheers for the second half of 2025. Cheers for every day above ground's a good day. Having a little gratitude. Hopefully everyone had a great first half. If you didn't, and you want changes, you better make some changes. Good morning, Space, Thomas, MLD. What up, JJ Toppin? I know, IBIT. Those crypto guys are nuts. They know how to stop you out right before a move. So if you got stopped out of some size, you might have to readjust. We still might have that July 4th, Bitcoin holiday as it consolidates. Wow, they're good. Anyway, yesterday they did a little bit of shaking and baking. What does that mean? It means that some of the big winners from the first half got sold down. Some of the mediocre names, held in, and some names got some flows like the IWM and a few others. And sometimes it goes on a few days. Sometimes it's a day. Sometimes a new sequence. It's our job to figure it out. But bottom line is right here. You take a look at the SPYs, and it's amazing, how strong it's been, right? You had your low in April, the higher low. This is when we took back the 21 day on April 24th. Where were you on April 24th? When this gap upheld and you had the rebirth. You ever hear the rebirth about the eagle? You know what the eagle does when it's 40 years old? Google the rebirth eagle. I'm giving you an assignment for the day. I'm 52, and I feel like I was reborn. Sometimes you got to be reborn. What the eagle does is the eagle goes in the side of a mountain, cracks his beak off, cracks it off because he knows he's getting weak. He knows he can't hunt anymore. Gets rid of all of his feathers, and all of a sudden grows his feathers back, grows his beak back, and then he could be an eagle again for 20 more years. Well, sometimes we got to be reborn, and sometimes active sequences have to be reborn. And right here, that was when this was reborn. Even if you miss this and this, you could have been long here, and it's held the 21 day the entire time. Even here, it held the 21 day to the latest refresh, which was about a week ago, which actually took me to the highs of my year, the highs of my P&L, the highs for everybody. Good morning, Jim Nelson, Nelly. And here we are. So yesterday was interesting. Yesterday, the SPYs held 615. Okay, when it looked as if the Dow was up 300 points and I'm getting killed. I'm like, what the hell is going on here? Anyway, everything got held. And did you find it? All right. Damn it. I'll find it. And we'll see if it goes sideways. So when that happened, look what the Qs did for the first time. Oh, my goodness. The Qs broke below a prior day's low, but still above the 8 day, still fine. So what we're going to do is we're going to make this a bigger little channel here where this goes sideways and this 549 means nothing now. And now this is the low of yesterday. So we'll see if, this could turn into a new channel before higher prices, which it probably does. Again, some names like Netflix got hit, Meta got hit. A lot of these names got hit, but they were just super extended. So the Qs went below the prior low, like I just showed you. The SPYs didn't, hovering in here. But look what the IWM did. IWM actually had a nice little move to the 220 target. We've been talking about playing the IWM, which I have been, and I've been buying dips. This was the dip that I bought. I think I bought the 215s into here, and then it went to 217, sold half, bought more, sold half, and then I bought some back. And now the IWM actually looks as if it could perhaps, this is the downtrend, which it's now kind of above. It's a little sloppy. I was thinking maybe 228. But again, this isn't the easiest trade. The IWM has been really, really, really tough. ASTS, don't understand why the chart looks so bearish below the 8 day. I'll tell you, Ken, I'll get to that. I don't think it looks that bearish, to be honest. I just think it's correcting. But anyway, so I think this can go higher. You know what I bought a lot of yesterday? Which we'll see. I bought a lot of the $86 calls in the XBI. And I'm going to buy more. I feel like I bought them for July 11th. Okay. If we continue to get a little bit of a rebalance, I know the XBI has been horrible, but I feel as if I could feel it coming where it's going to get a move from 86.50 to 89.50, which would be $3, and these $86 calls are like 50 cents. So I know the XBI is really tough. That's why I'm not buying the XBI ETF. I'm going to pay 60, 70 cents for the 86s. And right now it's July 2nd. So we have between now and the July 4th holiday and the following week for it to get a nice candle. Everyone said the same thing to me when I said the IWM was going to get to 220. And that was right here. And all I had to do is get above 215 to see 220. So all the XBI has to do is get above 86, take back the 200-day, and then there's the 89.50. I'm not talking about 105, 194. Just a trade. It's up to you. I did it. Something different. Same way you guys thought I was out of my mind with Apple. I was like, Red Dog, you're out of your mind. Apple sucks. I'm like, I know. I haven't traded Apple all year, but I'm buying the $205 calls. I was buying it in here, $205 calls for $1, $1.20, $1.30, and then all of a sudden I'm sitting there and I'm like, damn, maybe I was wrong. I hate laggard catch-up plays, but guess what happened? All of a sudden they made an announcement with their AI, and it had a spurt. I was watching, I was sitting there, I saw a spurt in Apple. Everyone's like, Apple. I'm like, ooh. I'm like, that's good news, isn't it? And like, yeah, so I bought the stock besides the options when it was at 203.50, took it, and I still have some. And Apple right now is where? Apple's up $1.50. And yesterday, Apple kind of saved me because I had Amazon, I had Google, I had Nvidia, I had some things on, and Apple was up 3, and I made money in Apple while I was losing everywhere else. So it kind of helped me. Anyway, so I'm going to trim a little bit more. Where could it get to? I still think Apple can get to 214-ish, which is just the top end of this channel, and just to the 200-day. Why can't Apple do that? But anyway, that was a good trade. So guys are saying they're a little upset about ASTS. I get it. So do you really think this is the end of the world, that ASTS that got through 25.50, that went through 29, that went through 35, that went through 39 to go to 54 is the end of the world coming down towards the 21-day? It's not that bearish. It's below the 8-day, yes. It's really hard for a stock to sustain a trend like this from down here when they convert their debt deal into equity to raise more money for the future, which will turn bullish for them at some point. So don't be fooled, Kenneth. This is not bearish. What this is a corrective move that probably will be super duper buyable into here. I already started buying a little bit. I haven't bought any calls yet. We get down towards 41. What I'm going to do is I'm going to buy some $55 calls, and I'll go out probably to, I'm not sure, maybe August, September, and I'll be in the stock. I remember here, everyone's like, it's so bearish. I'm like, well, it was consolidating this huge move. That's why also look how long this took. I don't want to get, too big too fast if all of a sudden, it's going to take a lot more time. But this to me is not bearish. It's just you got to just be a little patient, not get too big. It did break the upper flag. So if you were playing for an upper flag breakout above 54, you had to reduce your size when it got below 48. But I do think 41 to 44, you could buy a lot and buy a lot of options for August, September. That's my thought. What does Adam Bush says? I like spot here on this dip to the 21-day. I'll take a look at that. I don't really play spot that much, but yeah, it's a nice dip. It's been in a nice trend. This is kind of testing the last breakout. Again, if some people are like, hey, what does this mean, Red Dog? Does this mean the leaders are not leaders anymore? Or does it mean they're just correcting down towards moving averages? This is still the trend here, so I think your spot is just fine. Maybe it pushes below, gives you a little Red Dog reversal right here on that 718.03. So 718.03 is that spot. We'll see if it holds trend line. They sold Palantir. They sold a few of those. It's fine. Someone's like, Red Dog, Dash is cooked. I'm like, you really think Dash is cooked? Why? Because they sold the leader down also. That just was at 155 in April. This was 155 in April. 155. Where is that 155 I just said? It's down here. And anyway, and yes, you could have sold strength yesterday. I was actually out of, I sold my Dash at 247-ish or 247. No, I still sold somewhere around here. I think on this day. I sold 242.63. That was my out. Missed that part of it. And guess what? I bought a little bit out on the close, and I'd love to buy more. Okay, look at this move that it's had on the weekly. So maybe this means it needs a little bit of time. But right when it cleaned, this was when I really started to hyper focus it on it with you guys. So as of now, you have a little red dog reversal here. So yes, it's in the target zone. So if it can get back to 221, which I don't think it will, I think it's a massive buy. But actively, I bought some and I'm going to add to it. I'm just going to be a little careful, just in case it wants to correct more. But I would think it doesn't really get much below here, right? What's this low? This is 231.75, and then here's your 21-day. I would definitely refuel your dash there. Apple is doing the folded phone I've been calling for. Is it really? Did it come out with it? Send me the news, MLD. So here's my dogs talking to me around the world. We're collaborating. You know what collaborating means? Collaborating. We're sharing information because we're friends. We've been friends for a long time. So I've been talking about Apple needing a foldable phone. So Apple's up $1.50. Iron's been decent. I have actually the iPhone 12 still. I for some reason I keep getting unmotivated to change it up. But yeah, I could use a foldable phone because again, I have 60-inch televisions all over my house, and I found myself in bed watching a Netflix show like this at around 9:30 to go to sleep. Wouldn't it be nice to be a foldable phone? And I do a lot of my work on my phone, so a nice foldable phone better than the Samsung. That'd be nice. It'd be nice. Anyway, so if you want to talk to me, talk to me, Goose. What's that from? You could go on what's it called, YouTube or Twitter, and talk to me. Anyway, with that being said, we'll see what happens here. It seems like we still have a little bit more of this back and forth to do, but we'll see. Nike held the pro earnings gap. Okay, that's a setup that I like. So Nike reported better than feared numbers. So people like, is this a new active sequence? Well, what you could do in Nike is you could be long verse this low here. This low is what? 69.77. So if you want to be long for 69.77 and set it and forget it, you could do that in Nike. I concur. I'm not going to do it. I haven't bought a pair of Nike sneakers in a long time. I'm an OC fan now. I like to get a few extra inches. Anyway, let's see here. Ooh, look at this, actually. This is, if you want to like maybe draw your line like this, this is actually really symmetrical, actually. Maybe I will buy some Nike, took out this. That's, I like it. Who just said that before anyway? There you go, Oscar. Josh Bukhari. I like it. I like it. Nike's been in a downtrend since 2023, punching up against this line as a pro area. Actually, it's a good song. You want to hear it for a second? Look at that. Let's talk Amazon for a second. All right, so listen, does anybody know? Listen, I'm going to see if my 3,000 people that are watching right now. So did Jeff file to sell the shares, or is it reported that he sold the shares? Because it's two different things. Jeff and Mackenzie, his ex-wife, own about 18% of Amazon shares now. So it doesn't mean Amazon's a bad company. They're just trying to do the friggin' space program, give money to charity. They have to sell some shares. They're not going to die with the shares. So unfortunately, at times they're sellers. So he filed. He didn't sell it yet. So MLD is saying he filed. He didn't sell it. So that means he will be some kind of. So every now and then, Amazon's just going to get really weak. We're like, what the hell is Amazon weak for? It's because he's got some shares to sell. Ultimately, the chart looks pretty good. I was buying a lot of it in here. Got paid pretty well. He's only sold 20%. So, I would be careful just getting too big or adding on strength because he could be at any level. Remember when he was at that 220 level? What a pain in the ass that was. But anyway, I do like Amazon moving forward. I think it's fine. NVIDIA's coming down. Well, NVIDIA's been a big winner. So NVIDIA, we'll see if NVIDIA holds, by the way, 151-ish. It may not. We had a big money trade here. Remember that money trade when it got above 146? NVIDIA's come from 86. Remember that 115 went to 158? I would think this area should hold. How much is it really coming down? Down $1 is not a lot. Down 90 cents is not a big deal. Come on. This isn't coming down. This is 90 cents. Stock just had a huge move from 146. You guys got to have your perspective better. But anyway, I would be a buy. I would buy into this 151-ish area. Maybe even go out and buy some, 158 something calls. Um, I would think this holds. But this is the 8-day trend. If you're in it for the 8-day trend, it's got to hold here. If it wants to smooth out, it can get back to here, but that would be a little choppier. I get it. RDW, that was a pain in the ass yesterday. I got stopped out. I have options on it. I will revisit. Um, these names were kind of tough. They had money raises, and I just don't know how long it's going to take. And sometimes it takes longer than I want to sit there. So I thought it looked good here. I was going to get in the gap. It didn't do it. Same thing with ACHR. Broke this little trend line here. So for me, this doesn't look special. I'll stay in some options to watch it, and I'll wait. I'll wait for it to look better. I can. I'm an active trader. I trade for a living. Bull looks pretty good, Mario. I like it. I'm still there. Oh, remember this song? Mario loves this song. I could tell. 1291. Mario works at Cisco. We went to a Nick game. No, did we go? Went to Billy Joel. Coin looks pretty good. All right, let's talk about IBIT. Look what these bastards did. Excuse my French. They had to get you below that spot. They couldn't make it easy. If Johnny would have went to the police, none of this would have happened. No, that wasn't that. What did it say? What was that from Outsiders? If Johnny would have came to me. Well, anyway. Right here, right? If this broke this inside range, it's right back there. IBIT. Let's see. Where's IBIT? Up $1.40, those bastards. I still have the options on. I bought options on for I think July 11th. But I had a lot of this on yesterday, But I always see this is a good lesson. A lesson in trading. It's fine. Okay. I was buying IBIT thinking you have a nice bull flag. It was going to break above it. It broke below it. So what did Red Dog do? Red Dog got out of the IBT because I'm an active trader in my active shares. I added to my options though, just in case, because risk is premium paid. And now that it bounces right back into this little area, I will probably figure out how to maybe add to my options and see how it goes. I know you don't like the bios. You don't know Red Dog, but SLS is doing well right now. And Bible at these days, it's setting up your long. I trust you, Michael B. I'll take a look. So SLS, he's saying for the bios. Seller's Life. Who is it? Cheapy, huh? Let me see the weekly. Oh, this 60,000. This looks like that old school stock that I don't even want to bring up where it did a gazillion reverse stock splits. All right. I'm not going to do it, but if you say so, looks like, if it gets above 2 something or other, it can go to some, it can go higher. Just be careful with these things. But somebody, it looks like it's got to move to 350. What I would do, I don't even know if there are options in these things, but looks fine. Tesla delivery numbers at 9 o'clock. Yeah, everyone hates Tesla, and I get it. Tesla, to me, got really hurt. It kind of hurt me a little bit too, but I'm over it. I say when Tesla's good, it's great, and when it's horrible, it's really, really, really bad. And right here, I thought it was ready to go, and I bought a lot of options before it went, made really good money that day, and then I got stopped out here. I took some options just in case for the deliveries. Maybe they're a tiny bit better than feared, maybe, but it hasn't been a focus. If you've been focusing on Tesla for the last week, you missed NVIDIA through 146. You missed Amazon and Google probably. You probably missed Apple the last 3 days because you're so worried on Tesla. So we'll see what happens with the deliveries. I do like that it's at 9 o'clock. It's like it wants to be the hyper focus. So who knows? Maybe it's better than people thought. Or not. Anyway, it's 6:54. It's July 2nd. We'll see how this little shaking and baking happens for the new quarter more today. And then we'll see where we are going into the July 4th weekend. Hopefully you have some good holiday plans. Got to make sure to have some fun out there, because if you don't have fun, you might as well not do this, because you're doing this to have some fun with your family, your friends, and live life. You're not doing it to have the biggest boat. Having the biggest boat doesn't mean you're the happiest guy out there. Anyway, hopefully you're making progress. Progress is happiness. I'll see you guys later.